Hello all, welcome to another session of Dragon Warriors. We're starting the mini campaign, The Prince of Darkness. Last time they were all involved in this big tournament, and while at the tournament they befriended, or were rather aggressively befriended by, a guy called Doron. who, it turned out, is the Prince of Glissom, which is a northern kingdom at the sort of northernmost tip of Albion. And he offered them some coin to come with him, seeing what that he'd done such a wonderful job in Erewhon, to try and put things right in his own kingdom. Quite what needed to be set right, he couldn't say, but he just had a bad feeling that things weren't right somehow, and he's not well liked there, so he wanted them to go with him, basically to watch his back and to help him out with any troubles. So you've spent... The trip was relatively uneventful. It's not far from Erewhon to Glissom. You arrived in Glissom's capital city. It's no Pheromane, but it's a lot bigger than most of the other places you've been. It's a proper walled city in the old school, dominated by its castle and one of the castle's taller towers. It's got docks all down one side of it. The fort is right in the centre at the top of the hill. Basically think a smaller walled-in Edinburgh, and you're pretty much there. But it's overspilling its walls at this point. The town's growing beyond its walls. You've spent a while there with him, drinking and eating, getting the lay of the land, and seeing the way in which... Doron has the common touch, shall we say, but the nobles and the merchants, the sort of up-and-coming classes, don't rate him too much. But everyone who realises you're newcomers gives you a version of the following tale and history of Glissom. To the north of Sulphur Bay and the kingdom of Erewhon lies the rich arable land of the Fife of Glissom. The Fife is bounded to the south and to the west by sea, and to the north by a towering mountain range. This range is known as the Mountains of Brack. Its peaks are perpetually lost in the swirling Arctic winds that blow from the northern wastes. These bleak realms are never travelled by man, and are only talked about in relation to myth and legend. One of these mysteries concerns a time at the beginning of the world soon after its creation. The earth was then under the rule of Balor, the essence of darkness, whose icy breath covered the land with thick blizzards and dark scudding clouds. The farmers of Glissom relate to many a traveller, with time to spare, how the other elements conspired together to overthrow the rule of darkness. They buried the city of Nem, the seat of Balor's power, forever beyond the northern mountains. They tell of how the element of fire first exploded at the heart of Balor's smithy, where dark engines of destruction were built, and how a deep volcanic ash buried the city and the land for miles around. They tell, too, of how the howling wind carried a burning ember from the explosion far over the mountains, and how this ember fell just where the city of Glissom now stands, and how to this day this sacred glowing ember still burns at the heart of the king's tower. Then, to the north, the earth opened up, swallowing the city, and water poured down in great cataracts, submerging it, hiding it from the eyes of men. The icy wind beat down upon it, turning the water to ice, imprisoning Balor and the rubble of his city forever. Thus goes the legend, the farmers say, nodding superstitiously to one another. Aye, thus it is said, and they will stare down into their empty mugs. When you buy them another round of drinks, however, they go on with their tale, for they have yet to tell of those who have sought the city. They speak of the time when the centurions invaded the country with their legions encased in bronze armour, and of how one of these centurions, named Drajan, led his men into the mountains in search of Balor's city. Not one of his 1,000 men was ever seen again, although, again, it is rumoured that their ghosts stand on the road to the north, begging travellers to go no further. 200 years ago, there was a prince of Glissom named Fengil, who was much given to occult practices in his youth. One day he set off towards the northern mountains, claiming he sought Balor's lost city. He never returned, and although his father the king sent many men to search for him, he was never found. Those sent to search for him became lost in the treacherous woods and the swamps at the foothills of the mountains. Some reported hearing strange laughter from amongst the trees, and a few were sent stark mad as if by some malicious enchantment. The old men seem sleepy and reluctant now towards the end of their tale, but their bleary eyes still rejoice at the sight of fresh flagons of beer, and they are persuaded to tell the last part of the story, even to foreigners. Many years later, indeed in a time not yet lost from living memory, a shepherd named Mervyn lost his way in a storm in the mountains. He took shelter in a cave which proved to be the opening into an underground labyrinth. He climbed countless stairs cut into the rock and survived many encounters with dangerous creatures, until at last he reached an exit at the very peak of the mountain. Below him he glimpsed the frozen lake, covering the lost city of Nem, and a ruined temple structure standing at its northern end, where the Arctic winds blew most fiercely. Above this he saw circling in the shrieking wind the legendary hawks of Balor, the Prince of Darkness's harbingers of doom in times past. Seeing this dreadful sight, the shepherd fled the mountain top, but not before he had picked up an object that he'd seen gleaming on the ground. Mervyn was found dying of exposure in the foothills to the south of the mountains. He told the men who found him his tale, then opened his hand to reveal a piece of gold pectoral jewellery. The object that he picked up off the ground. On it was etched Prince Fengil's name. Since then, the name of Fengil has become a byword with which to scare children into their beds, for it is said that the prince stalks outside the city gates at midnight, no longer alive, but trapped in undeath, calling on the name of a darker prince than he. The old men now fall into drunken silence, not wishing to continue a tale of such ill portent, and perhaps regretting their words. The travellers had best retire to their rooms or take to the road, for the folk of Glissom do not care for talk of shadows. So you've heard variations of this tale and variations of the story as you've been around drinking and keeping Doron company. Other than a few bar brawls, you haven't really got into much yet. But that's about to change. I did warn you there was a lot of exposition. It's strange how events turn out. Often, for those who walk the path of adventure, things are not what they seem. The glint of fool's gold lures many to their doom, and yet the humblest seeming hovel may hide a treasure worthy of a king. Doron, who you met at the revels, the tourney, was much more than he first appeared to be. This scruffy, uncouth northerner, hot-tempered and brave, was no mere fortune-seeking wanderer, but a noble of the royal line, nephew to King Durendar of Glissom. Now that your travels have brought you to Glissom, he is home once more, and in recognition of your comradeship, he's made you members of his household. Not that that carries much favour up here. Indeed, you're probably rubbing off more favour on him than vice versa. Given his rough and rowdy ways, it's no surprise to learn that you are the only members of his household, not so much as a servant to clean away your dishes. Doran's uncle, Durendar, is an old, wise king. He's now ruled Glissom for the past 50 years, well into his dotage. King Durendar has ensured that his people have flourished, and that the granaries are full to bursting after each harvest. Yet 2 years ago, on the night of the spring festival, where the people pray for the coming season of growth, the king came before them on his balcony, as is his custom, and announced that from that night forward he would renounce affairs of state and become a hermit, occupying himself in prayer and fasting in the tower that stands in the northwestern corner of the palace. He was too old, he said, for politics and statecraft. It was time to devote his life to higher things for the good of the kingdom. For the past 2 years, the only person to have had direct conversation with the reclusive king has been his steward, Kilndead, who has carried his food up to him in the tower and taken back down any official proclamations that the king has seen fit to make. The only 2 public appearances that Durendar has made have been from his balcony at the spring festival. The 3rd such festival is now at hand, which is probably why Doron tapped you to come up here. The people of Glissom and all its surrounds are gathering anxiously in their capital, awaiting the address of their king. Doron has a tendency to get into extra trouble around feasting time, and Kilndead has often had to bail him out of the local cells where he lay in a drunken stupor. Now that he's back in the city, the council fears that he will bring the royal line into disrepute once again. So, one day while you're out at one of the inns with Doron, who's already been drinking since this morning, you're approached by an unremarkable-looking man in a grey tunic and grey hooded short cloak. He just sort of sidles up while Doron is off getting another round of drinks. Not that you're particularly into that. And just sort of quietly inserts himself in next to you.
Yes, what do you want?
Might I have a quick word while the prince is occupied?
Certainly.
I am a man in service to Kilnded, the steward at the palace.
And what is this supposed to mean to me?
To you, possibly not a great deal, sir, save that he is the ruler in all but name here. And with the festival fast approaching, we would appreciate it if you and your compatriots would keep Prince Doron out of any trouble.
I mean, naturally. Of course. Seems reasonable.
Good, good. I mean, you will be remunerated for your trouble, obviously. He takes a purse from inside his tunic and sets it carefully on the table.
So, put my finger on the coin, slide it into my hand.
It's pretty heavy. You think gold rather than silver.
Adequate compensation.
There are certain things that can't be avoided with Prince Doron, however. It's his duty to guard the tower and the sacred flame tonight for the festival. So if you would also join him there, and again ensure that he doesn't get into trouble and that things are properly taken care of, we would be most appreciative.
Okay.
I shall convey your acceptance to my master. He bows his head slightly and slinks off before Doron gets back.
Who's your mother?
My master's the steward. Kilndead.
As he's about to leave, Jim, I'll nod at Alan, nod at Becca, and whoever else is with us.
Yeah.
I'm going to sort of like blend in and try and follow this guy.
Okay. Right. Can take 8 away from your stealth and roll under it on a d20.
5.
Is that under it?
Yeah, stealth is 24.
Yeah, you're pretty ghost-like, really. Okay, so you sort of fade into the crowd and follow him. The crowd is full of country bumpkins who've come in from the surrounding farms, travellers who've come for the festival. There's paper lanterns everywhere, and gourd lanterns made from pumpkins and turnips, and yeah, it's quite a cheery place despite the cold. You'd barely know it was spring up here. If this is spring, you wouldn't want to be here for winter, put it that way. And this guy is deliberately sort of nondescript, and dressed in grey, so he kind of blends into the shadows and the grey stone that most of the buildings are made of here. But he does return to the palace with you following him. The palace obviously is guarded and the crowds thin out here, so it'll be a bit more difficult to follow him inside.
Okay. Would it be better on the rooftops, would you say?
None of the roofs really line up to the castle wall. Let me just go to the map and have a quick look. Now there's a deep moat, though it's got no water. Several small bridges crossing to the castle in the middle, but the castle itself is surrounded by an area of empty land, probably common land, so there isn't really anything tall enough to get over the walls. You'd have to take a risk to get over there.
Is it risk or risque?
It's risky unless you're trying to spy a princess while she's changing her outfit.
No.
Then it's both.
Right, well, I'll just take note of where he went and then head back to the town.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Doran's job is tomorrow night, not tonight. Okay.
right.
So you got to babysit him for a day.
Okay. Did I manage to get back to my friend?
Yep, no problem.
That was an interesting little John. Where's my pint? Where's my pint? Where's my pint?
I fucking drank it, you bastard.
Listen here, you fiendin'. I'll drink what I drink, and I don't want some witness drinking my drink. So get me another one, please.
Aye, right. Fair's fair.
Aye.
And he swaggers back up to his feet and goes to get another
As soon as
drink.
he goes back up to the bar, I said, he's a man of his word, that guy who's in grey. He did go back to the castle. I couldn't get into the castle because it was too busy, crowded, but it looks like he is looking for the tour, so I couldn't get into the castle. I didn't lose him.
I saw no reason to distrust him. And besides, I was planning on keeping him out of trouble anyway.
Right. Well, the thing is, we're mercenaries. We're not babysitters, but Dawn is our friend. And if we've got to look after him for a day and a night, so be it. But the thing is it could have been sort of like someone sort of like out of the blue saying, right, keep Prince Dawn out of our hair for 24 hours. So I only just like followed this guy as far as I could go, just to make sure that he was a man of his word, and also at the same time to see who his possible benefactors was. But since he went back into the castle, he could have been one of the steward's benefactors. The steward is one of his benefactors, sorry, other way around. Yeah. But I did follow him, and he didn't talk to anyone on the way back to the castle, and he didn't emerge with anyone. So how much reckons in the pouch then, Sirlane?
The pouch contains 10 gold crowns for each of you.
So there's 3 of us tonight, is there? Yeah.
4 of you.
4. Okay.
So 100 florins each, essentially.
Well, for one day's work, that's quite a lot.
For 1 day's work.
It is a lot, but at the same time, there's got to be a reason why we're babysitting Dawn for a day and a night. So,
Well, the way I saw it, we're here anyway, and would you suggest allowing him to get into trouble?
well, the thing is when you were who's older, Jim, Dawn or Elaine?
Probably Elaine. Doron's maybe 21.
Right. See, when you were Dawn's age, Sirlane, were you not out owing, drinking, fornicating, chasing after Totty? You know?
I was studying Latin and practicing the sword and shield.
While you were whoring, I studied the blade.
Yeah, that's pretty much me. When you were studying, I was whoring. Enough said, nothing.
He was sharpening his weapon, not blunting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just gonna babysit Doron the rest of today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for it, unless anyone else wants to object.
Yes, I want to explore the possibility of becoming a princess. Yeah, that sounds quite interesting.
So you want to come on to Doron?
Princess Becca has a lovely ring to it.
Well, let's just start subtly. Just a bit of.
But you need to teach birds how to sing and things first. Wrong franchise.
I just want to find out what his prospects are.
His prospects. Well,
Cheers.
Durandar doesn't have any living children. Doron's father is dead, so technically he's next in line for the throne.
Who Dawn is, or the...
Doron is.
Yeah.
But he's not very palatable
No.
to the nobles.
Yeah, the earls and lairds don't like him very much.
It's loud, it's brash.
So he needs a PR machine, doesn't he?
Yeah, and the merchant class doesn't like him very much either. Your common man, your farmer, and your fisherman and your sailor, they all like him.
What about the priests? The clergy?
The clergy, yeah, they don't approve.
So the salt of the earth like him, it's just nowhere else.
Yeah,
Maybe he has more of rapport with the common man than he does with nobles and priests.
yeah, he's in with the salt, but not the pepper or the vinegar.
Hmm.
What about the chili?
What about the vipers?
Ooh.
I think in the spice comparison, adventurers would be chili. So.
Jalapeno.
Okay, well, yeah, he gets well into his cups again tonight, and yeah, people talk about him a lot, especially while he's passed out drunk. So yeah, Becca picks up that information from the conversation around him mostly.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, I'm thinking we could certainly give him some gravitas, some kudos. Yeah, us.
Yeah, I mean, your hero's known across Albion, so your very presence makes him look a bit better.
Could always spin a tale about how he performed at the tourney as well.
Yeah, he did all right. Nothing really to sing about, but yeah.
Hard work, I suppose, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, you can talk to a few men-at-arms and that about how well he acquitted himself. And if you talk about it in sort of technical fighting man's terms, they'll respect your point of view, certainly.
He got further than us in the sword competition.
He did. But you weren't trying, remember? That was on purpose. That was a feint.
That's what Becca said. I was actually trying. I just lied because I didn't want to seem bad.
Who got a silver arrow? Na.
I got the golden joust man.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
Remember?
I knocked a golem's helmet off. How do you reckon I feel, eh?
I think we should get a display cabinet going for all these trophies.
Right. The morning of the festival rolls around. You're awoken not by cocks crowing and not by the bells of the churches, but by Doron hammering a pewter plate with a wooden spoon.
Someone wants their breakfast.
It must be Gruel o'clock.
Yeah, as you all sort of rouse yourselves in his house's common room, he sets down the plate and the spoon and clutches his own head. Crivens, Mahid!
Well, Sean, did you not drink enough last night?
I didn't drink enough this morning, but tonight's the festival, and I gotta have me heed on street.
Well, let's get you a full belly of food and sober you up a bit.
Aye, sounds grand. Lay on. Where are you going to take him? Just one of the local inns or something?
Well, can we find somewhere that doesn't serve alcohol that we can give them food? Well, I don't know. Buy somewhere from the market stalls, perhaps. Buy food.
I know something. We can do. Doran, can I ask you a question real quick? Doran, can I ask you something, dear? Do you have any deer or stag in your domain?
Who are you asking, sorry?
Dawn. I'm asking the prince.
Oh,
Dawn.
Yeah, he waves at a couple of stuffed and mounted deer heads on the wall.
Do you fancy going hunting today?
Hey, gotta get my head on the street and figure out what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, flyweight, Dawn. Yeah, flyweight. The fresh air would do you good. It would fill your lungs up with so much goodness. And such a beautiful morning it is as well.
Get fucked, you bam.
Listen here, you pudding. Who you calling a bam? Or do you want me to say that in Romanian accent?
Yeah. the market will have to do, you think? You could get some well water and some scran there.
I think he'd notice if we started, watering his ale down for him while he's in the pub. Ian, sorry.
So you take him out around the market. It is absolutely heaving with people at this point. Everyone's here for the festival. But you get him fed. He seems content to just eat and drink water and to get his head on straight for later. Brother, you got any spells for an aching head?
I've got one thing.
Possibly, but they only work on me, I'm afraid.
Shite!
I'll say
I got that too when I found out.
What kind of fucking god would give a brother the power to look after himself?
I'll say to John, wait there. Do I see a horse trough, Jim?
Sorry, I'm getting a bit too much echo off Ian. Thanks. Sorry, what did you say?
Do I see a horse trough?
There's probably a horse trough around, yes.
Do I see a bucket beside the horse trough?
There's almost certainly buckets around, yes.
Right, I'll pick up a bucket, fill it up with water and go, hey, John!
What?
Does he turn round?
He does.
Chuck it in his face.
Right, he's splashed all over with horse water and just sort of stands there dripping gingerly and staring at you. Och, you scunner.
Who you calling a scunner, you jezzer?
Fucking gypsies.
Hey, listen to the gypsies. There's nothing wrong with being a jet.
Sorry, what?
There's nothing wrong with being a jet.
He takes it in the same rough and tumble good humour he's taken everything else, and it's actually quiet and a reasonable pleasure to be around. He tells you tales of underworlds that he's explored that you haven't seen. He slew some kind of hag in the great woods to the south, and he tells you he's even fenced briefly with a Fomorian. A few of them still stalk the lands, he says. But he couldn't best it and had to throw himself over a waterfall to escape it.
I'm intrigued by what a Fomorian is.
Sea demons from the frozen north.
Ah.
Yeah, Doran's happy to tell you about them. Some of them are ugly as sin, with horns and tentacles or the face upside down, and others are as beautiful as the women in your dreams. Or men.
Just wondered what that noise was and then realised what time it was.
Oh, is it clapping time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well done, NHS. I wish these claps were money.
Yeah, you would have been a billionaire by now, Jim.
Not for me. Good
I'm going to
God.
ask him if he's ever come across a Fomorian with one eye.
As we're in a city,
Yeah.
are there any decent apothecaries where we might buy some lotions and
There are
poultices?
There are plenty of apothecaries, and there's a lot of market stalls and travelling merchants. Was there anything in particular you were after?
Well, I mean,
Bath bombs.
well, perhaps something for Doran's sour belly, really. And
Yeah, you can pick up a few different hangover cures. Every herbalist, every alchemist, every apothecary in the city has their own recipe.
Does any of it look like coffee beans ground down?
One of them is just whiskey. More whiskey, lots of it. Others are various combinations of egg whites or egg yolks or both, and ground up blood sausage, various herbs and so on that are known for their palliative effects. So yeah, something might do the job. Kill or cure, really. But Doran's clearly used to drinking heavily because he's pretty much recovered by the time of the evening.
The bucket of water doing good.
Was there anything else you want to try and pick up or do before the evening rolls around?
Try and get some healing potions if I can, Jim.
You are in a city, so it is possible. Let me just look them up.
I think it's a percentile die.
Yeah. But typically potions and that aren't available. But I think because this is the capital city and because it's during a festival, I think it's more likely that there could be some around. So
I can't remember what you have to beat. So
yeah,
I think it's like 40% or something. But
something.
I'm not entirely sure.
Let me find it. Wizards, sorcerers, alchemy. Have to be level 7 to make healing potions. The cost of ingredients is 40 crowns. That's 400 florins. So if he marks it up. Okay. You find a hook-nosed old woman by a wagon, which seems to be her stall. Weirdly, considering how crammed in all the other wagons and market stalls and so on are, people have left a goodly amount of space around her wagon. And she has lockable caskets, apparently full of various potions and filters and things.
Well, so, Brother Abbas, you'll have some sense whether these are genuine, wouldn't you?
I can only really sense things that are enchanted or magical.
The potions are magical, so you
okay.
will be able to tell.
So do you have the active spell mastery anyway to see enchantments?
Yeah, because that's the only one that's really worth a damn out of the spell mastery.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah, the rest just aren't very good.
Yeah, I always have see enchantment spell mastery every day of the week.
Yeah.
So, well met, woman.
Does she look like, does she look like a little traveller from Megokin?
Possibly.
We are looking for fine elixir, restorative elixir.
Restorative for a young man, perhaps?
She makes an obscene gesture with her arm.
No, a restorative that knits bone and sinew and regrows flesh.
Ah, I see. Yes, I have a few little vials of something that should help. Yes, come closer. Let me get a better look at you.
Yeah, I'll move in.
Okay. She lifts up her hand to her face, sort of squeezes in one side of her skull that looks like it's been caved in at one point, pops out a glass eye and sort of looks you up and down with it. Spits on it, polishes it on her sleeve and pops it back in.
Granny, is that you?
You sure you don't want something for the young gentleman?
What? No. Just a healing potion if you have it.
Just the one?
Well, how much are they first?
If you have to ask, dearie, you can't afford it.
Well, that's true. I'm not sure how much gold we have on us, really. Where's my sheet?
A letter of promise from Milano would probably still carry currency up here. So you generally have about 150 florins on you, which is not enough.
Yeah, no. Yes, so I have a considerable funds in Ferromain, and can leave you a letter of promise. Prince Doran is my guarantor.
It's a lovely boy, but he's worth shit. Not even cow shit. Barely a rabbit shit. Something small you can flick from your fingers. But yeah, come here. Come here, young lady. Let me have a look at your hand.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'll show my muscular and strong right hand.
Trustworthy, yes. And yes, I think you're good for it. Ah, and you're going to live in a castle with a moat.
Granny, is that you, Granny?
Does it say if I'm going to be a princess one day?
Got your eyes on a prince, have we? All right, I'll take a letter of promise and a lock of your hair in payment. As to the price, a full purse weight of gold.
How big's the purse?
What, 150 is that?
It'll be 150 gold coins, which is 1,500 florins.
For one potion, that's a lot.
Yep. That's just over 3 times what it costs to produce.
Is there any way I can haggle with this fool hag then?
You want to haggle with the hag?
Yeah.
Um,
I'll chuck in some harpy's claws.
the harpy's claws.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she'll probably
I've
get
got 7
excited
sets
about
of
that.
I've got 7 harpy's claws. I can make more of them. I can make more sands of slumber, can't I, Jim?
What, Sands of Slumber?
Yeah.
No, you can't make more of that. That's beyond your alchemical capabilities.
Okay. I'll chuck in 9 flashbangs and the 7 harpy claws.
Okay.
See what she says.
Okay.
Seems like a fair exchange.
Okay. For just one potion, yeah.
For just one potion, yep.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've been sort of like writing some things down in the ledger.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just pipe up and say, whisper over to Rebecca. You can justify spending at least 1,000 florins if you want to, but we'll need to hit a treasure hoard eventually.
Are you feeling a bit skint, are we, Sterling? Feeling a bit naked?
We need the money to pay for the castle.
We could always sell some armor or equipment. Hint, hint.
Yeah, but I'm just seeing what
I mean,
I've got that she might like. I mean, I've still got those moon dog knuckles, I think, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Oh yeah.
With mine ages ago.
Is it? So did Clarendon just sorry, did Scissor just
Yeah, he's done a trade with his flashbangs and so on. She is interested in the fangs and claws if you want to give them to her.
yeah, what I mean, do you want a third? Should we get a third potion if she has it, or should we get a discount on the second one? On the first one.
Well, you got the first one essentially just in direct trade, so this would give you a discount on the second one.
Elaine, how many potions do you want?
As many as we can afford. So, as I say, we can only really justify spending another 1,000 florins.
Yes, yeah. So
if you give her the bag of faintly magical marble bits and 300 florins, she'll give you a second potion.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, we'll
you
do
got
that.
you got the gold you were given, so you can pay out of that. Okay, so you've got 2 health potions. Who's going to be looking after those?
I will.
No.
I think Cesora did trade for one of them, so you should probably hold one of them.
Yeah. Brother Abbas, do you want to hold it? The other.
I usually end up being the one that needs administrating it. So.
Good point.
Yeah.
So maybe Becca should hold on to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, these
I
are
think
expensive. I mean, these are expensive, but they're worth it, aren't they?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are
very much so.
They are a lifesaver.
Plus, we don't have our friend where there's actually healers. I can heal myself a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like yeah, there's like you said, it's about sort of 50, 60 florins cost, isn't it? So gold, 50, 60 gold just to make it.
Yeah, it's 40 gold crowns, bare minimum for the base price of the ingredients. So, and it takes a long time to brew a potion, and requires constant supervision. So, three times the raw materials seems fair to me.
Those cauldrons don't bubble themselves.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, so we got 2 good deals here. Do you want to go for a third potion, Elaine, or should we leave it there?
Do you think you can push your luck?
Do you have anything else to trade? Let's have a look.
What else have we got?
How much is a crown worth, Jim?
A crown is worth 10 florins. The coin.
So I've got 784 crowns.
Is that on you or?
It's a coffer on my person, yeah.
Not on your person. The coffer's back in Pheromane at your house.
Right.
Elaine,
I've got 154.
Elaine has a +1 sword he's not using. That would pay for one.
I do.
And
I
you've
was
got
planned.
you've got fangs and claws as well.
That's true. I can part with the sword. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of attached to the fangs and claws. I've been carrying them since the first one of the first quests.
Okay. So trade the sword then.
What do you think?
Oh, and I mean, there'd be even swap. I think it's just like you just can't quantify how much these things are worth, really.
Yeah.
Now, to make it, to make a magical sword, it takes about a year, doesn't it, of like continuous work and
It's a year and a day or something.
And a master craftsman to do it. So it's like.
Okay. Yeah, she's happy to take a magical sword off your hands. So, yeah, I can't remember which one that was. It's just a bog standard +1 magical sword, but there's no such thing as a bog standard +1 magical sword. Anyway, but yes, you hand that over to her. She looks it up and down, gives it a couple of test swings in the air.
This will do very nicely.
So who's going to take the third healing potion?
I guess I will.
Okay. It's room in your backpack. Okay, so that's all noted down.
Right, so there, Elaine. So we've not written any checks out. So you're happy, yeah?
Yeah, I mean she would have trusted you anyway. She does stop Becca as you're about to leave the stall and presses a stone into your hand.
For luck.
Oh, thank you.
It's a stone with a hole through it.
It's a donut.
With a leather thong attached.
No, just a loose stone.
Keep it close, dearie.
Okay. Well, I'll purchase a leather thong forthwith and wear it underneath my mail.
And if you change your mind about the prince and the potion, do let me know. Roll up. Potions. Poultices.
Have you had your Weetabix, Jim?
Aye.
Is Mel Smith in it? Is Mel Smith in a dress?
Probably, yeah. Well, or Pertwee. I just can't do the Wurzel Gummidge voice. I don't think anyone can do the Wurzel Gummidge voice apart from
John Petrie himself.
professors. You know, the guys who do Punch and Judy shows. I think you need that in your throat to do it. All right. So you have...
That's the way to do it.
Right. So you look after Doron until the evening. And then the steward comes to collect you from Doron's digs. So it's him, a few men at arms, a couple of big burly bodyguards for him. He wears like a big gold chain of office. He doesn't come in, but the man in grey who came to get you earlier raps on the door and ushers you out. Kilndead doesn't particularly bother to talk to you himself. He sort of has his head down and is talking animatedly with Doron for a while. And then you're instructed to follow. So you wend your way through the town, the men-at-arms clearing the way of the crowd in front. The stewards carried along in a palanquin, and the rest of you trudge on behind, Doron included. You cross one of the bridges to the castle, enter the inner surround of the castle, and arrive at the foot of the great tower. Kilndid gets down out of his palanquin, instructs you to remain at the base of the tower, and that's just kind of Doron's job, I guess, tonight. Traditionally, the tower's upstairs windows are all traditionally barred for security, and the only one that opens is the one leading to the balcony on the first floor where the king's going to be. There's only one key to the single door at the base of the tower, and Kilndid has this on his waist ring for his keys. Part of his job as steward is to be the keeper. And that's it. You'll just have to stay here while the revelries and so on go on without you in the rest of the city.
Ooh, I wanted to watch the puppet show.
You wanted to see Elaine and the Wolf again.
Yes.
No.
Are we on guard duty, are we? Is that it?
Baby thing.
Tradition, says Doron, and leans up against the wall beside the door.
What is the significance of this sacred flame, then?
If it ever goes out or leaves the city, then Balor is supposed to awaken and lay waste to the land. Sounds like a load of old shite to me. It's an
In my experience, these things tend to have some sort of base in reality.
He leans over slightly towards you and goes, I know, but I like to fight it all the way, you know.
I get that.
Oh, brave Prince Doron, come and slay the goblin that's living in me well. No such fucking thing as goblins. Then a fucking goblin comes out and steals a pig or something.
Well, we had a run-in with a hobgoblin once, didn't we?
See? If you tried not believing in it first, you might not have to fight it.
But we did find a couple of goblins as well.
You're missing the point.
Different adventure, though.
Can I ask you a question, Dawn?
Aye.
Why have you never married?
Never met the right girl twice.
Hmm.
When you're a prince, right, they want you for your money. When you're an adventurer, they don't want you. Unless you got money.
So your father never tried to have an arranged marriage for you with another princess from another kingdom or anything like that?
My uncle's not into that kind of thing, the seclusion, being a hermit and all. He ain't given me shit about not marrying for 2 years. And my father's dead.
Sorry to hear that.
It happens.
I almost died once. Was it twice? Was it twice?
Yeah, we've had a few close calls.
You don't know how many times you nearly died.
You could say that, yeah. You could say that.
Was it from a head wound, perchance?
No. I'd laugh at the face of fear, down at the face of death, and tweet the nose of fear and down in the face of death. There you go.
Oh, Doran, you were looking at here the man who bravely saved Elaine from a kraken by throwing himself into its mouth.
Oh, are you having me on?
Right, I'll take my hood down, Jim, and take my mask off and say, "See," and I'll show him how I look, just my face, because it's still cursed. Remember?
Yeah. He looks
And
away.
then there was the house in the woods with the legs. That was weird.
That was a chicken coop with legs. That was a chicken. No,
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't.
That was a hut with legs, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Crivens, this guy's face are nearly bulked.
I'll put my hood back up and put my mask back on.
I'll stop trying to get whores to give you the time of day. Maybe that Mother McCready will see you right.
Oh yeah, we've
in Nana area.
you just seen that. Yeah. We made her a year. She can retire early now.
Right. So yeah, the time passes in conversation and so on until moonrise. And a short while later, Kilndead, who's been inside communing with the king, steps out dressed in a long white robe of office with a dagger and 2 scroll cases stuck in his belt. He locks the gate and turns to you, drawing one of the scrolls from his belt, and you can see the king's seal dangling from it. It is my duty to tell you, and you, Doron, in particular, it's my... he seems very sort of puffed up and uncertain of his words. I wasn't expecting this. I've served the king over the last few years as his steward and his mouthpiece, and have kept things ticking over. And I've allowed you, Doron, to gallivant around the land, seeking adventure, coming back when it suited you. You know, we've kept your house for you, but your uncle has recognised my long, faithful, reliable service, and this very night he's nominated me as his heir.
What?
Doron sort of looks at him. What? Your uncle, the king, has chosen me as his heir and successor. Over
Since
you.
when? Since when?
I don't know how long he's been planning it, but it's all here. Doran's still just kind of looking at him. But you should be happy. This will leave you free to live the life of an adventurer, free of all the trappings of royalty and politics and court. Doran's hands are slowly clenching into fists.
Judging with this guy speaking, Jim, do I hear any lies in his tone?
Do you have any particular facility for detecting lies?
I've got a sword.
Are you lying? No, if Madrock was here, he's quite good at these kind of things, but no.
I've got intimidation.
you can't tell whether he's lying or not, and he does have the paper with the king's seal on it. Doron roars like a barbarian and throws himself towards the steward. do you wish to intervene?
Yes.
Here's a
Yeah.
back here.
Sorry, what did you say, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
okay.
natural instinct would stop him.
You all pounce. You've been used to Doron's antics for a while now, so you all sort of leap on him and hold him back. The steward recoils like a startled mouse. I'm sorry, Doron. I didn't plan for this. The king just he recognizes my service. He sees that you want to be free of all this. Doron sort of shakes off. It's all right. I won't fucking nut him.
Okay.
And he turns and
Yes, and go.
hammers on the gate. Uncle! What the fuck? Uncle! And he just keeps hammering on that. Kilndead clutches the scroll and keeps moving back, and then turns to make his way across the square.
That scroll you clutch in your hands,
Yes?
were you supposed to deliver that, or...
It's the king's pronouncement. I'm taking it to the mead hall to proclaim to everyone.
Why don't you share it before...
If I break
Doing
the
so.
seal, it might be doubted. Whereas if I take it to the mead hall... why am I explaining myself to you? Stay there. Your job is with Doron. And he turns and makes his way off again. His 2 bodyguards who've been waiting outside this inner gate fall in alongside him and follow him towards the mead hall.
I smell a rat.
Right, to try and calm Doran down.
Well, you can go and calm the bairn down. I'm going to try and see if I can pick
Yeah.
this lot.
I said, Doran, well, I know you're upset, but it wouldn't play well if you make a big scene, right? Ineffectively in front of all the lairds.
Doran, when was the last time you actually spoke to your uncle in person?
Nay long before he went into seclusion. So, 2 years.
Did he seem at the time? Did he seem of sound mind? You know, did he have all his faculties? Was he thinking all right?
He was getting old and feeble, but his mind was still sharp. Aye. He's a canny man, my uncle.
I'm just wondering if, you know, he might have got him to sign a declaration thinking it was something else.
There's nae a man alive who could bend my uncle's will to something he didn't want.
Then perhaps this is genuine.
Fuck this. I gotta see this for myself. And he strides away from his guard post to follow Kilndead.
Yeah, let's follow.
Should one of us go with him?
Yeah, I'm
The
sort of
guard
following
post he's leaving, is that where the sacred flame is?
The tower, yeah, that's where the flame and the king is in seclusion. The king hasn't come out onto the balcony yet. That's supposed to come later.
I think one of us should at least stay with the flame just in case.
Okay, so
I'll stay behind with the flame.
okay.
We shouldn't split Becca and us up. Either you or...
Are you fucking
Skeleton.
coming or what, you bastards?
Either you, Elaine, that's me. Sorry, I'm trying to remember their names again. Cesora and Abbas.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Either one of you come with me.
I'll come.
Okay,
Right.
so it leaves Abbas and Becca to go up the thing. Yeah. Okay, so you follow on. So Doran's sort of elbowing his way through the crowd across the square. The front of the mead hall has been thrown open, so that the crowd of dignitaries and the sort of high-fluting people from the city can hear all the announcements. Minstrels are playing away, drums are beating, then that abruptly stops. Kilndead takes the stage and unseals the scroll before some sort of members of the council, opens up and begins to read. And he reads the proclamation from the king that from this day forward, his true heir is Kilndead the steward, who has served this city, blah, 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 blah. Justification. Things about how Doron is like the Lord Protector or something of the land. You know, he's free to go adventuring and do whatever he wants. They'll receive a stipend for doing so. But despite all this, and despite Doron's clear lack of popularity amongst the assembled people, there are gasps at first, and you think it's not going over well, but then the gasps and surprise turns to cheers and applause. Even many, but not all, of the men-at-arms are joining in, so clapping together their gauntlets. Clearly, the great majority in Glissom find Kilndead, or at least to the people that matter, find Kilndead a more savoury choice than Doron. And it's not long now till the king is supposed to make his yearly appearance. So all eyes begin to turn towards the tower.
Okay.
Right, Zabas, we need to be ready. We're on guard duty, so we're allowed to have weapons out, and so let's do that. Get your bow ready or whatever, or your spear.
Get my spear ready. Yes, certainly.
Yeah. So if anyone kicks off, don't ask any questions. We just have them. Yeah?
Crowd control.
Yeah.
Okay. As Doran and the others and the crowd start to wend their way over, a lot of shade is being thrown at Doran. Congratulations! I imagine we won't be seeing much of you. That sort of thing. Oh, it's such a shame. Suddenly, in the midst of all this, the moonlight that has been bathing the square since darkness fell is abruptly extinguished. Looking up, you can see that the moon has been totally eclipsed. At the same time, the applause falls silent, and an uneasy murmuring begins. Looking back towards the hall, and around you and on the tower, you can see that the lights there have vanished. Every candle, every light has been snuffed. In the sudden quiet, there is a shrieking from the air, like many great predatory birds, and as your eyes begin to readjust to the darkness, you can see fleeting, huge, shadow, bird-like shapes wheeling above the tower.
Oh my god!
As you're just taking this in and sort of getting your bearings to react, two of these enormous shrieking silhouettes detach themselves from the larger flock that is circling the tower and swoop down towards the balcony, while another two dive down directly towards you, the great and the good scattering in all directions. So, one sec. Right, let's find out the speed on these things. Right, you can barely make them out. They're black as night. All you can really see is these piercing red eyes in the gloom and the sharp blue-white gleam of talons and beak. One hurls itself at Doron. Where did I put his stats? I know I've got them somewhere. Could have sworn I had them here somewhere. Okay, there it is. Right. That's right, uncommon monsters, different references. Right, the first one swoops past over Doron's head as he hauls out his sword and throws himself against the tower so it can't get as close to him, but it misses. The second one goes for Abbas because he's the most obviously on guard one at the moment. What's Abbas's defense?
My defense is 7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it narrowly misses you. You like feel a claw whip through your hair and maybe tear a couple of strands loose, but it fails to strike you. Okay. And okay. Then it's Elaine's turn. Oh, sorry, it's not Elaine. It's Caesura first.
Unsheath both the boys and go for the one which was attacking Doran.
Preparing the weapons will take your action, but you can get into position.
Yep.
Right, to protect the others. Elaine?
Yeah, same. I'm gonna get in position. Probably by actually standing between me and Doran,
Okay.
shield raised, sort of thing.
Physically shield him. Yeah. Becca?
Can I reach this bird that attacked Abbas?
Yep.
Right, I'll take a swing at it.
Okay, its defense is 15.
Oh, nat 1. Ooh.
So it's
Ding,
a hit.
ding.
First
It's
roll
gonna
of the game.
go straight through armor. So roll damage, please.
Oh, only 12.
Only 12, he said.
Only 12.
Missed the one shot there.
Okay. Yeah, you had your blade ready, so you swing out as one of them swoops around and past, cleave a deep cut across the end of its wing, shearing off a few black feathers, and you feel the hot spray of blood on your face as it shrieks and twists around in the air, trying to regain its balance. Right. Doron had his sword out because he was angry. He takes a swing and misses utterly. He's just kind of hurling his sword around angrily in the air, trying to reach the hawks, but failing to strike them.
So, how big are these birds?
Big enough to carry off a man, so they're at least the same size as the harpies, probably a little bigger. And Abbas.
I'm going to try and strike the one that tried to get me.
Okay.
The one that Becca had a
Yeah.
go at.
Its defense is 15, so you probably need to roll a 1.
Doesn't it use all its defense, though, against Becca?
True. Yeah. So, yeah, you just need to roll under your attack.
Yep, got a 4, so that's a hit.
Okay.
I'm a
And
point.
it's the magical spear, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so roll damage.
I don't need to roll armor bypass, do I?
No, just
Oh.
damage.
Oh, because it's used all the defense, so hasn't it? Yeah. It's only been 2 days. 4 points of damage.
4 points.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you solidly strike it as it sort of wheels and flaps and tries to recover from Becca's strike. It skids across the cobblestones slightly, shrieking and flapping, and just barely manages to get back into the air. Right, new turn. Okay. The injured one twists and turns and comes back at Abbas. What's Abbas's defense again?
7.
7. Okay, you're struck. What's your armor?
3.
Okay.
Time to get a health potion ready, fellas.
You ward it off as best you can with your spear, and it it rips and tears at you with its talons, shrieking, flapping its partially disabled wing, spattering you with blood, and gets in a couple of good scratches on your neck and face. Take 2 wounds of damage.
Oh.
The uninjured one goes for Doron. But fails to strike him. Cesora.
What's the one? So is the one which is attacked on? It's got its back turned.
It does have its back turned to you now, yeah. In as much as a frantically flapping flying creature can be said to turn its back on anything, but
Use both the Sword of Ardor and the Gladius +1 backstab and join unison. So I'm going to
so an all-out attack. So you got no defense until next turn. Okay, roll to hit twice. It has no defense against you, so just don't miss.
Okay, first attack 3, second attack 5.
Okay, roll damage for both.
And first one 6, and the second one 5. So that's 11 altogether.
Okay. Right. You drive your blades into its body. It's like trying to hit shadow, but there is something solid there in amongst these night black feathers, and you manage to strike deep. Your sword sings and burns against the feathers, making that horrible sort of burnt feather smell. And it shrieks and thrashes around, but it's still alive. Elaine.
Finally, I can charge into it and try and run it through with my sword.
Yeah, I mean, you've been holding it off Doron, which is probably why you didn't get hit. Cesaro's just stabbed it in the back, so if you want to strike, you probably finish it.
And I do hit, yes.
Okay, because it has no defense. Okay, and damage?
6.
Okay, you plunge the sword of Valandar deep into this creature's chest. It shrieks one more time and just seems to sort of burn away in the light that's shimmering from the sword. Becca.
What?
Yeah. So there's one that's
There's the horribly injured one.
nearly dead.
There. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one attacking Abbas.
Yeah, I'll coup de grace that.
Okay.
2. Yeah, that's a hit.
Yep. Whichever way you slice it. Damage.
You slice it, you dice it, you fry it up.
8.
8. Okay. Yeah, you just cleave it out of the air in front of Abbas, and it's burnt away by the power of Valandar.
Is it Doran? There's two hawks have gone into the balcony.
Right.
Let's rescue your uncle.
He starts shoulder barging the gate and says, "Kilded, give me the fucking key!" Abbas.
I think the wounded one is
Yeah,
dead and
both
buried,
hawks
wasn't
that
it?
flew down to attack you are dead now.
There's still 2 left to take it.
There's the ones up on the balcony, and there's however many are circling.
I'll make for the one of the ones on the balcony then.
It's way up the tower, and the gate is locked.
All right. I'll drop my spear and ready my bow and with an arrow then for this action.
Right. As you do that. Okay. The 2 hawks on the balcony appear again, though it's hard to make them out against the grey-black sky with no moon. And they lift up and away. As they turn in the air, you notice that one of them seems to be carrying a glowing ember or brand in its beak, and the other hawk seems to be carrying a limp human body in its claws. Only Abbas has a ranged weapon ready. Do you want to risk taking a shot at one of them?
I'll try and shoot down the one that's got the flame in its beak.
Okay, let's see. So, reduce your attack by 3 for range and another 3 for the darkness. So -6 from your attack and roll.
6 for the... So under 8. Okay. Oh, just got a 7.
Okay, is that a magic arrow or anything?
It is, yes. It's a +1.
Okay. Right, don't need to roll for armor bypass then, because it's going to be automatic. So roll damage.
D8 plus 1. 3 points of damage.
3 points of damage. Okay. The arrow strikes true, but the hawk continues flying. It joins the rest of the flock, which move around it. You soon lose sight of the two within the flock, which stream away to the north. The moon comes out of its eclipse, and you can see around yourselves in the square once more. Even a few of the candles flicker back into life. Kilndead and the entire populace of the mead hall are now sort of swirling around, looking everywhere in complete panic and chaos.
Well, that didn't go well. What's the nearest exit? We may have to run here. Mabas, get ready to run.
Doran, do you have any idea what that thing was?
Hawks of Balor. I guess it ain't bullshit.
You know of these things?
Myths and legends, servants of the great Fomorian king, or something made to look like him. Kilndead, give me the fucking key. Kilndead has finally arrived at the door with his big bodyguards in tow. It fumbles the key out of his pocket and unlocks the gate. Doron barges in.
Okay. While they're unlocking the door, can I just check the corpse of this bird? What can I glean from it?
Both of them were killed with Valander weapons. They were kind of burned up. There's a few feathers and some blood left in what little light there is. Even the pinion of the feather is black. The feathers themselves are black. They're cold to the touch. And the blood, where it's been spilt, is a dark blue-black, like ink.
So these are supernatural creatures, aren't they? There's no doubt about
no one's
that.
faked this. No one's like dyed a giant eagle black or. It's not a gang of emo eagles that's attacked.
It's emo harpies.
Well, wouldn't you be sad if you could fly but you didn't have hands? That would piss me off.
Oh, touche, Jim. Touche.
Are you following Doron in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kilndead and his bodyguards and the men at arms are also sort of filtering through, but you've got the opportunity to look around first. The ground floor of the tower is an empty circular room that gives access to the square outside through a stout oaken door and bars that you just came through. There's a steep flight of stairs up to the first floor. Can you all make perception rolls, please? Just D20 under your perception.
Fail.
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 So Caesura succeeded, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, your assassin's eye notes that the dust on the floor doesn't seem to have been disturbed for a very long time, apart from in one narrow path between the door and the foot of the staircase. So if you were going to be creeping in here to stick a poisoned dagger in someone, you would try to follow in those footsteps, so you didn't leave any new paths. So that's why you noticed it.
I'll sort of go. I'll head off in that direction.
Doron's already making his way towards the stairs and scuffing up a lot of the dust on his way, but it's pretty thick in here. A lot of ash and just regular sort of household dust as well. Right. So you follow Doron up to the next floor, while the steward and his men rummage around in the bottom floor, sort of looking behind the door, looking at the walls. They're being more methodical. Doron's being more headstrong. The next floor up in the tower is taken up by a library. So there's a circular bookcase with breaks for small arrow-slit windows, which are filled with diamonds of glass. Basically takes up the 4 quarters of the tower that don't have windows. There's no lights or lanterns or lamps or anything here. Can you all make perception checks again, though Doron is hurrying on?
Pass.
Fail.
Pass this time.
Did Becca pass or fail?
You're
Oh,
muted.
no, fail. Sorry,
Okay.
muted.
So Abbas and Cesora succeeded.
Yep.
Okay. Cesora notices that the same is true of the dust here, though it's a bit harder to tell because there's a great big circular rug. But the dust there is a trail across the rug of footprints in the same way, sort of leading directly to the staircase up. There's a few smaller tracks, however, here which go to and from a couple of the bookcases. And when you sort of nod and point to Abbas, he notices the same thing. It looks like only 2 books have really been consulted in this library in some time. Do you want to continue following after Doron, or do you want to check out which books?
By this point, we've already left them behind.
Yeah. So does either Cesora or Abbas want to check out the books?
I'll check out the book.
Yeah. You learn to read in downtime, so... So there's one book is a great big sort of family Bible, but in the front of it, it has the genealogy of King Durandar's family over the first few pages, and the ribbon is in the page that shows King Durandar's family. The other book is a book of myths and legends about the lost city of Nem, the seat of Balor, Prince of Darkness. These are the only 2 books that really seem to have been looked at. The spines are quite heavily cracked. Some of the pages are loose. So they've been consulted a lot for a long time, by the look of it. So you're slightly behind, but the rest of you followed on after Doron. So this is the 3rd floor. You're about 30 feet up. Each floor is about 10 feet. This is the floor from which Durandar made his appearances to the public at the Spring Festival the last couple of years. There's 2 doors which are smashed now, leaning open into the room. Doron just kind of smashed his way through. And they reveal the wooden balcony overlooking the square outside. And Doron has rushed to the balcony. Do you want to follow him or take a bit more time looking around the room before Cesar and Abbas catch up?
I've sort of just been following Doran this whole time, so
Okay.
it wouldn't occur to me to look around.
And Becca?
Is I'm gonna what was this? Is where the king lived, wasn't it? So
Yeah, this is his room.
I'll go to his bed chamber.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And the other 2 are now caught up. You push into his bedchamber. There's a very powerful smell of perfume in here. Like rose petals, rose essence. There's a lot of bowls scattered around. candles which aren't lit now, but which were and had rose oil and petals embedded into them. And there's a lot of plates of rotten food here and there and everywhere.
Rotten food. What? Not eaten.
Not eaten. Yeah.
What blowflies, maggots?
The stuff that's here mostly seems to be things like fruit and vegetables. Some of it's unrecognizable because it's just so covered in mold and fungus.
Oh dear.
Out on the balcony and in the middle of the room, there's a scattering of black feathers from the hawks. Besides the bedchamber, which you've now investigated, there's a throne as well. Okay. And everyone's caught up now. So Doran's just sort of casting about this way and that, doesn't really know what to do.
This is not good. Doran.
Aye.
Over here. Look at this.
Okay.
I'll call him to the bedchamber.
He's gradually getting more and more sort of deflated. Yeah, getting angry. He doesn't seem to have gotten him anywhere, so he's just kind of dragging his sword along the floor after him, but he follows.
This is the king's bedchamber, yeah? Look at the place. Look, there's rotten food. There's heavy perfume. Doesn't look like anyone's been here.
Soth, the old
For a
man
while.
was ill then. Proper ill.
Well, I mean, I've only I've come across this kind of heavy perfume before. This use of heavy perfume and scent and oils.
Aye, and
What it's to conceal the terrible smell.
Death.
I've been through villages where they've had the plague, bodies rotting in the streets. Even the well people smell like shite. Doesn't that seem more likely?
It's possible, yeah, but look at the food. Like, it's food's been brought up for the king and it's not been eaten. He's just left it to rot. Like weeks and months old.
Doran pulls his eating knife from his belt and pokes through some of the rotten food, like spores go flying off everywhere. It's been picked up. Someone's eaten some of it. Cesar or Abbas doing anything else, checking anything else, or just joining everyone else in the bedroom?
Join everyone else in the bedroom.
Okay.
Who was in charge of looking after the king?
Kilndad looked after him the whole time. I guess he's our king now.
So Kilnded was in charge of looking after the king, and
Aye.
conveniently enough, Kilnded has also just been proclaimed heir.
A couple of men-at-arms finally enter this level. Prince Doran. The steward, Kilnded, not yet crowned king, commands you to join him and the elders at council. Kilnded sort of glances side to side at you and nods to the guards. They turn and walk away. If I don't go, they're gonna think I'm involved somehow. Or if Kilnded is involved, his lies are gonna go unchallenged.
What do we come with you to council, or is that private?
You're my household. You come with me. But maybe your wee sneaky man Cesora there could bring the horses around.
Yeah.
All right, wee man.
No problem, boss. No problem, boss.
Right. Time to face the music. So Doron and you along with him, minus Cesora, who has fetched the horses and the mules, and is sort of lurking, loitering nearby in a holding pattern. You're summoned in front of the Council of Elders. The mead hall has been cleared out of all the festivities. The main gates have been shut. There are lots of men-at-arms and Kilndead's own bodyguards around. Kilndead sits at the right-hand side of the empty king's throne, and other members of the lairds and earls are sat in the other smaller, lower thrones. Once you enter and stand before the council, Kilndead stands and begins to speak. Doron has been negligent in his sacred duty of guarding the king. Doubtless he's been drinking and partying, and even these heroes whom he has somehow gathered to his banner could not keep him straight and narrow and dutiful. And as a result, our king has been snatched away in the claws of a gigantic bird, and the hearth fire has also gone. The hearth fire that has protected this city and brought fertility to its fields and kept the Fomorians at bay, it is gone. The opening of the caskets is a matter of the gravest concern. Now, I do not believe Doron is a traitor. I just believe he is negligent. And I know most of you here must be thinking the same thing. But who, other than the king's nephew, would even be able to open the king's magical locks and retrieve the ember? Now again, I do not believe it was Doron, but it must be someone who has taken advantage of Doron's lack of duty. I do not accuse him of treason, and I will not stand for any other accusing him of treason. I do not think that is who he is. But he has fallen short. He has failed. The hearthfire must be recovered, and the body of Durandar, if he does not yet live, must be brought home to be interred with full honour, to lie alongside his fathers and his fathers' fathers. With your agreement, Council, I wish to set Doron and his friends the task of venturing forth and returning with the body of the king and the hearthfire. If he can succeed in this trial by quest, he shall restore his honour and a part of his inheritance, even though the king chose me as his heir. I will even send my two most trusted men, along with Doron, to aid him. Kilndead sits, and many of the elders on the council seem rather confused by his speech, as does Doron. "What do you reckon, hen?" he says to Becca.
I think we should leave the city as soon as possible. Why is not important. Let's be gone.
If he's playing silly buggers, why is he sending us to find my uncle and the hearthfire?
They expect us all to be killed in the process.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is a matter of honour. I mean, you were on duty when they were taken. You should recover them. That's
Aye, and I'd be doing that anyway. So what's with all the hullabaloo?
well, he wants us out of the way, doesn't he?
Aye.
You wouldn't have left your post if he hadn't got to declare himself that he was the king's heir.
I think you and I, we are not Machiavellian in nature. I think let us go on the hunt.
One of the elders on the council stands. Excuse me. Would the knight from the southern lands please step forward?
Oh, you're muted.
That's me, right?
Yes, that's you.
No.
Oh yes. Yeah, step forwards.
I do
Yes?
apologize, sir. I did not catch your name.
This is Sarah Lane of Blaylock.
Braylac. I've been there. A lovely place. Lovely place. Yes. Now, Doron has dishonored himself, as the steward has and King in Waiting has so rightly pointed out. You have not besmirched your honor. I saw you doing all you could to support Doron and to protect him and to do your duty. As a man of honor, will you swear to God here in this grand hall to see Doron safely on his quest to find Durandar's body and the Hearthfire and retrieve it, or die in the attempt?
Indeed. I solemnly swear it so.
To God?
To God and my own honor.
One of the local monks sort of shuffles over to you with his holy book. And, would you put your hand on and swear again, please, sir?
Formalities. I put my hand on it. I solemnly swear under God to. I can't remember the rest of the oath.
Well, it'll do. You do remember it. You've probably sworn many oaths of that kind. So, right, that elder seems satisfied and sits down. One of the other elders gets up, wanting his own turn to say something and to seem important, and clearly wants the last word, because he says, "Yes, I believe we all concur with the steward. Doron, you are outcast until and unless you return with the body of your uncle and the Hearthfire. You must leave within the hour." Some of the other elders seem a bit put out that they didn't really get to say anything, but the steward waves them all. Hush.
Be quiet.
Right. Doron just says, "Aye, well, I'll away then." And turns on his heel and walks out. Can Abbas make a perception roll, please? Just Abbas.
Oh yes, 4. Yeah, definitely passed.
Just a detail, just a little something you've noticed. So when Kilndead left the tower, he had 2 scroll cases with him. One of which was the pronouncement from the king. The other one, you got no idea. But as he's been here, sort of holding court, you notice that he has neither scroll case on him. Whether it means anything, you don't know, but you do notice it.
So we had 2 to start with, then he doesn't have either now.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Kilndead walks out and goes to meet Caesura and the horses. I take it the rest of you are following?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll quietly usher Sarah Lane to one side as we walk out. Sarah Lane, I'm just not sure if it's a big deal, but when Kildare left the tower to make the announcement, I noticed he had 2 scroll cases on his person. He doesn't appear to have one of them being the declaration that the king had made him his rightful and legal heir. He doesn't appear to have neither on his person now.
Perhaps he
Could be nothing, but
perhaps he simply stowed them away. But I somewhat suspect that the declaration from the king is at least forged or coerced.
as do I.
So yeah, as you leave, Kilndead's 2 bodyguards follow out after you. One of them tosses a coin to a lad who's hanging around and says, "Go fetch the horses of Fon and Mutt." We're coming with you. See the job through.
Lovely. Try and keep up.
Shouldn't be a problem. I'm Fon. He bats his chest. And I'm Mutt, says the other, and bats his chest. Fon wields a battle axe and a shield. Mutt wields a two-handed sword. Both of them are dressed in Kilndead's tartan and otherwise sort of barbarian outfit of furs and leathers and chain. The lad returns with a pair of war horses, and they mount up. Best waste no time.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any last minute stuff you want to do before you leave? Bearing in mind there really isn't much time to do anything.
Well, I was going to cast Invigorate just to heal those 2 health points back up, that was all.
Okay. Yeah, just roll for your exhaustion.
Will
And,
do.
okay. Otherwise, Doron takes the lead with Fon and Mutt close behind him, and the rest of you following along with all your horses and mules. You ride out of Glissom into the increasingly bitter wind that has begun to blow from the north. Nothing passes you or crosses your path. You ride hard into the wind for hours. The cold creeps through your outer clothing and begins to gnaw at your bones. It's getting close to midnight. And
At last, at last, my battle elk is happy.
Yes, at last your battle elk is happy. Yes, shaking its horns and got a spring in its step. Around midnight, because all of this kicked off not long after moonrise. About midnight, after Doron has somewhat reluctantly conferred with Fon and Mutt, it comes as a relief when you see a signpost to an inn up ahead. So Fon drops back in the pack of horses alongside the rest of you. We should take a rest. We're not going to do well at anything if we're exhausted and if we're frozen stiff.
That seems like a sensible suggestion.
First ale's on me. Sound fair?
Yeah.
Right we are then. Come on, Doron. And Fon and Mutt take the lead. They seem more familiar with the trail even in the freezing wind and the dark. After a while, following down this trail, over heath and past rock, you see a low building in front of you, with stone walls and a thatch roof. Outside creaks an inn sign, and a blaze of warm light shines from the front door onto the wooden veranda that completely surrounds the main building. In the light stands an old man, his body stooped, holding his hands up to his eyes to watch you as you approach. He must be the innkeeper, though he seems peculiarly out of place. He has thin, wispy hair, a long moustache and beard, and for someone living so far north, he's quite ruddy in complexion. He waits for you to sort of arrive. Hello, my name is Chang. This is my inn. We do not see many on the northern roads.
Chang. Don't recognize a name like that.
I'm from the steppes in the far, far east of the lands. I came here a long time ago, a shipwreck, and did the best that I could. Come, bring your horses into the stables.
All right.
So the whole building is sort of raised up and has this external veranda around it. And the underside of it is where the stables are. So there's a few other horses, some pigs, some chickens. It's like the animal's body heat helps warm the inn, along with the fires that are up above. Then there's wooden ladders and steps here and there to take you up into the inn proper. Leave the animals. Sit. Now, how can I make you comfortable?
Do something about the smell of manure.
That keeps us warm, sir.
But he wanders over to the sort of brick fireplace that's built on top of the wooden floor and throws a bunch of sawdust into it. And the smell of apple wood and cherry wood starts to suffuse the whole room. Better?
Adequately better.
Oh, good. Now, what can I get you? There is stew, fresh made yesterday, still bubbling away. And there is ale. There is always plenty of ale. Or perhaps something more exotic. Are you an adventurous type?
Indeed.
Yeah, perhaps you can try something more interesting then. 2 florins for the food and the shelter. Fair? Fon just tosses a bag of coins at him. Just let me know when this runs out.
What do you mean?
What Fon paid the tab?
Yeah, Fon paid the tab. He tossed a bag of coin to the innkeeper.
Oh, beg it up, Fon. He said the first drink was on him, and he's good to his word. Aye.
He is. So,
First and only drink.
So, are you eating and drinking and?
Yeah, but like, I'm going to sort of insist that any people don't get drunk.
You're no fun, says Fon.
I'm going to be even less fun and just stick to drinking water.
We have an important quest to do. We can't spend our time inebriated. A simple drink to raise the spirits is permissible, but more than that, I cannot allow.
Spoken like a true man of honor, Sir Elaine.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, if I can catch Doran on a quiet, I'll say to him, I said, do you trust them too? Do you know them?
About as far as I can comfortably spit an ox.
Yeah, it's like they've been sent to keep an eye on us, isn't it?
Aye. Ah, well. More bodies to share the arrows amongst.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice touch that not only were you dishonoured, but you were banished as well. That's
Aye. Well, we'll prove them wrong. Right, Hen?
aye.
Aye.
I sort of lean over and say, we're talking about how we can't trust these two.
Yes.
Indeed, I didn't want to say anything whilst they were around. I also don't like the fact that they suggested we come to this particular inn.
Aye, but it is warm.
I didn't want to raise any suspicions by declining their suggestion, but you should keep on guard.
Chang sits down with you and ladles some foul, thick, yogurty-looking stuff into a cup.
Oh, to your health.
What is this?
Yes, you said you were adventurous. Here, try some.
He ladles some more of what looks like partially digested cheese into a cup and hands it to you.
What is this?
It is a drink of my people. It's good.
Oh, is it like the sort of fermented yak's milk?
Yeah, that
Beer.
kind of thing. It's not.
So,
Eggnog.
It's not
Has-
perfect.
Has
But,
Becca drunk that before?
Something like it, probably.
I sort of raise it to my lips and take a
Okay,
sip.
the smell. Oh God, the smell. Oh. It's certainly an acquired taste.
I don't like it. I'll stick to mead.
It's not for everyone. But Chang likes it.
Oh God. Oh no, I took his name in vain. Forgive me, oh father.
Right. If you only ate or drank something, roll 3 6-sided dice and tell me if the result is under your current health. If you ate and drank, roll 4 6-sided dice. And the same. So to succeed, you have to get under your current health on either 3 or 4d6.
Just managed to roll under.
Yeah, just under. Yeah, Constitution of an Ox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, way under.
Okay.
I just have a lot of health.
Did Cesora succeed or fail?
Succeeded.
Okay, so you all succeeded. It's very warm in here, and you feel fairly safe. Maybe the ale's stronger than you thought, or there's a lot of tryptophan in the stew. You're not entirely sure, but you all feel rather sleepy, and everyone soon retires to sleep. Right.
Do I not get saved against poison, Jim?
That's what that roll was.
Yeah.
Now, so who has got the highest perception? It's probably going to be either Cesora or Abbas.
13.
8.
7. Perception's very low.
Becca's perception is
7, I think. Yeah.
okay.
Same as
Right,
me.
Cesora, you stir awake at about 3 o'clock in the morning, abruptly, just feeling suddenly rather unsettled. The fire's crackling away, but all the lanterns are out. All the candles are down. There's a lot of snoring, but sort of casting your eyes around, you can't see Chang or the two men.
Do I feel groggy?
Beg your pardon?
Do I feel groggy?
You do feel a little bit groggy, but it's not enough to really slow you down that much. You can hear low voices murmuring outside. But you can't make out what they're saying from this distance.
I'll tiptoe stealthily towards the door, put my ear on the door or the wall.
Okay. Make a perception roll.
Perception. 13. Do you want me to roll myself first or just perception?
Just your perception.
4.
Okay. So you creep up to the edge and lean your head up against the wall and cup your hand around your ear and listen. So you can hear Fawn and Mutt talking.
What are they saying?
I know this is the quickest and easiest way to be rid of the brat, but still, I don't like it. I mean, Chang's never hurt us, but it's a hell of a way to go. Aye, well, at least we don't have to watch. Once the deed is done, we can slip away. Back to Glissom. Before all those ripe young milkmaids go back to the villages, eh? What's Cesora's perception?
Perception is 13.
13. Right. You hear a very slight creak from one of the floorboards in the hall.
Okay. How dark is the surroundings? Is it really dark or just dim lit?
The only light is sort of intermittent moonlight coming through the cracks in the boards and the embers of the fire.
Right. Take a side step to the opposite way from the. Excuse me. Take a side step away from the cooking floorboard stealthily.
Yeah.
Hand on my plate. My right hand on me sword of Aldar, left hand on my gladius,
Yeah.
and slowly spin round to see what I'm about.
Okay. Creeping along the floor with unnatural grace, as if he's got extra joints in his arms and legs, and slinking close to the floor like a cat, you see Chang, who suddenly seems very spry for his age, slowly creeping up towards Doron's bed.
Okay. How far away is he from me?
1 turn's charging distance.
I was going to sort of like jump from where I am with my pommels of my sword to knock out Chang.
You can't really jump there, but you can charge at him.
Well, if I charge, it's going to make a noise, and the guards outside.
It is. So you can either sneak up on him more slowly.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. Right. He doesn't notice you at all, somehow. All that assassin's training and probably the monster hunting blood from your homeland coursing through your veins seems to be doing the trick.
Gypsy in my blood.
Yeah. You move silent as the grave itself up around close to him.
And it's about Chang to do what he's going to do to Dawn.
Okay, he lifts his head back. You hear horrible sort of clicking noises like joints being dislocated. He opens his mouth wide, and long, sharp fangs move out from his bottom and lower jaw.
Okay.
Chang, boss Chang.
Try and what, sorry?
You're Chang. I'm having kebab again tonight.
Okay, so you're stabbing him and not pommeling him.
Yep.
Okay, he's unaware that you're there, but you'll lose all your defense if you do a double attack. Yep. Roll to hit twice.
So that's attack 19. Any minuses?
No, I'd say he can't defend himself.
First one, 2. Second one, 3.
Okay, so that's 2 hits. Roll damage for each.
7 and 6. So that's 13.
Okay, 1 second. 13. 1 second. Why can't you just reprint the rules in the place where I'm going to use them? That would be too easy, wouldn't it?
No, never.
Sorry, how much damage did you do in total?
13.
13. Okay, both your blades dig into Chang's back. He shrieks at an ungodly volume, stirring the rest of you from your slumber, but both Cesora and Chang will get another go before then. Because you're just out of sleep. Yeah, that's never fun. 1 second, I need to sort out something else. Okay, so that's Cesaura's ambush turn. Now, while everyone's rousing themselves from their bed, it's Cesora again.
Right, I'm going to...
This time he can defend himself.
Yep. Stab with the sword of Clouder and parry with Gladius.
Okay, so adding 2 to your defense.
Yep.
Right. His defense is 19.
Oh, fucking hell.
And he's putting all of that against you.
Crap.
Okay. I just go up a level, my attack only goes up by 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see what I'm going to get. D20, come on, be nice to me. 3.
Is that enough?
Thank you.
It is?
Well, what was his defense? 19.
19, yeah.
And I got 3 on the D20.
Yeah. So you must have an attack of 22 or higher?
No, I've only got an attack of 19. Sword of Vardar's +1.
The Sword of Alandor should be more than +1 by now. Should be +3.
D8. No, it says short sword of Valdar D8 +2 dash D6 +1.
Okay. Should
You've
have.
not
Oh no, you were fairly dishonourable in one of the adventures. That's why. Okay. Yeah. So that's right. So you don't hit him then.
Right.
Okay. So you take a swing. He parries your blow aside with his iron nails. His hands seem to have turned into claws. And he takes his turn. What's your defense?
Maggie's dead. 10.
10.
What's the 2? Because I'm probably with the other sword.
+2, so that's 12, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. He leaps onto you and sinks his fangs into your shoulder. What's your armor rating?
I'm a factor 2.
Okay. And punch through the armored leather and sink into your flesh, draining the life out of you. Take 9 health of damage.
Oh,
Fucking
holy crap.
Right.
Okay. Right. You also hear running and shouting underneath you in the stables. Right. Now everyone gets to go. I doubt you were sleeping in your armor.
No.
I'll just had enough time to slip into his, and it's only leather.
It's just occurred to me, just saying that if our horses were interfered with, would they alarm?
They probably would, yeah. But they haven't been directly interfered with, though the presence of a vampire tends to unsettle these creatures. Right, so it's a normal turn, but it is still Caesura first. Chang is latched onto you, sucking out your life energy.
Right. So, is this a new combat turn, or
This
is
is a new
still
combat
similar?
turn, but everyone can act now.
Right, I'm going to sort of like shish kebabbing again. Both swords, sort of like going into either side of his ribs, one on the left and one on the right. So he's on top of me. So
Yeah.
sort of like, yeah.
Right. Okay. He's sort of clinging onto you and trying to sort of swing around you to stop you from being able to get a clear hit in on him. There's not a lot he can really do to defend himself. It seems to be more about the others in the room. So take 4 away from your attack and roll.
First attack, 5, hit.
Yeah.
Second attack, 6, hit.
Yeah, because he can't defend himself so well anymore. Right, automatically gets through armor and roll damage twice.
6 on the first attack, 7 on the second. 13 again.
Okay. But yeah, you drive the blades back into him. The magical steel reacts to his flesh, searing and burning it, but he's still clinging on to you for dear life. Elaine, you're stirred out of your sleep by the sounds of combat.
What in blazes is that? I pick up my sword. charge towards it and try and grab it by the neck and run it through.
Okay. Take 4 away from your attack and roll.
I'm not being as quiet.
No.
Oh, 19. God damn. I'm sorry, I've actually got to add this up. 13 plus take away 4. Yes, I just hit.
Okay. So you
I rolled quite poorly.
you grab him by the fur collar of his sort of leather tunic and haul him back onto the sword. Roll damage.
8 damage.
8 damage, Christ. Okay, yeah, you plunge the sword of Valandar into his back, and he gives another one of those sort of ear-splitting shrieks of pain from the feel of it as it jabs through him. Right. He wheels around and tries to bite Elaine. What's Elaine's defense?
14.
14. Right. So where you've got hold of him, he sort of twists and turns almost inside his jacket, like he's double jointed, like he snaps his head round like an owl almost. Catches you by surprise and sinks his teeth into your arm, biting deep. You can be wearing your under armor. That's only armor 1 for your sort of under armor gambeson padded stuff. So it's going to go straight through your armor. But he barely manages to bite into you. Take 2 wounds. You can feel the blood draining from your arm, and you can also see sort of wisps of life energy entering his nose and his mouth along with the blood. Right, Becca's go.
Right, Becca will leap up just in the linen undergarments and grab her sword of Valandar.
Yep.
So we're all sleeping in the same room, like
it's just one big room. Yeah.
In a common room.
Yeah. Now the bodyguards are down below in the stables. Sounds like they're going to come up and join the fight any moment. Otherwise, Chang has apparently turned into a vampire or some other kind of similar monster, and has left a big bloody wound on Caesora's shoulder and is currently latched onto Elaine's arm, going.
My
Right,
sword impaled through it and
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Okay, well, I try to eviscerate. Aye, if in doubt.
If in doubt, eviscerate. Or defenestrate, but there are no windows, so we'll make do. Right, take 4 away from your attack and roll.
Yeah, that's a hit.
No need to worry about armor, so just damage.
Rolled a 12. Oh, that's better. 12 hits.
12.
Bang.
Okay. Right. So yeah, Elaine's turning and twisting with him. You sort of catch Elaine's eye, and he holds him out on his arm in the way for you. And you give a mighty swing and tear about 3/4 of the way through his guts, almost severing his spine. His steaming entrails fall out onto the ground, but he's still holding on and still sucking away at the blood for dear life.
Oh,
For real?
For real.
Oh, wow. What is that?
Doron comes up alongside you with his sword. And brings it down hard on the top of Chang's head. It goes sort of chalk in the top of his skull down to about the level of his nose. And then before your eyes, he seems to age and shrivel and crumble until there's nothing left. Stitch that, you bastard!
I was waiting until I could have a going through, but I bought me black flask of holy water at him.
Well, Sadly, no chance. Right, Fawn clambers up one of the ladders out from below. With his axe in one hand and his shield on his back. Abbas.
I'll ready my spear and
You can already have your
men-
spear readied. I think with adventurer's reflexes, like when you awoke last turn, you will have grabbed your weapon, so you're ready to go.
I'll hold my action.
Okay.
Wait for him to make the first move.
Right. Mutt clambers up one of the other ladders from the stables. His two-handed sword is still on his back, so he's not prepared to fight at all. New turn. Caesura.
Taking a step back and drinking my life token.
Well, this was a good buy. All right. So regains 7 health.
So I lost 9 and I've got 7 back.
Yeah.
So that's me. 9 away from 16 was 7. 7 back, so that's me up to 14.
Okay. Yeah. The wounds are somewhat reluctant to close, being inflicted by undead and magical teeth, but they do close up quite a lot. So you still have puncture marks, but the sort of tearing and gouging has healed. Elaine.
Yeah. I'm gonna sort of reactivate upon seeing Dawn. What's his name? That fellow with the mace. Come in and draw his weapon on me. I'll just throw the torso of Chen at him to distract him.
The remnants.
Yeah. And as he swats it away, charge in and try and cut him through with my sword.
Okay, so yeah, you hurl the rapidly disintegrating torso of Chang into Fon. It hits him and it just blows apart into ashes. And he's just, I got some of it in my mouth. And then you're following that up with an attack.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Because of the distraction, we'll knock his defense down some. So there's 4 of you, isn't there? Okay, he's got no effective defense against your attack, so don't miss.
So they've dropped all pretense and they're just attacking us.
Yeah, it looked like that's what he was going to do.
I kind of got the sense I can tell the difference between him coming to protect me and him actually coming to kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From like the way his body language and whatnot.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. So yeah, just don't miss. Don't get a
I did not.
Okay. Roll to bypass armor, for he is wearing his hides and chain.
Wow, 8. So
that's straight past armor. Roll damage.
Yes. A second 8.
8 for damage. Nice. Okay, so
that's
you
11 total.
Yeah,
11
you appear through the smoke screen of rapidly disintegrating vampire and drive the tip of your sword into the side of his belly. And he grunts in pain and tightens his grip on his axe. Right, Chang is dead. Okay. So it's Becca next.
Okay, so what? But that was fun, and just come up.
Yeah, Elaine's engaged Fon.
And Mutt is coming up the other.
Mutt is coming up the other stairs. Yeah.
Right, I'll go and meet him then.
Okay. Yep.
At the head of the ladder.
You charge across to meet him. He still hasn't managed to get his sword out. So let's drop his defense a small amount to account for that. Okay, let's use his evasion instead of his defense. Okay, take 6 away from your attack and draw.
Right, so we'll go for a thrust.
Yeah.
Because that seems more appropriate.
Because it's the pelvic thrust that really drives you insane.
Yeah. And it's 7 has a hit. Yeah.
Okay. Bypass armor roll.
Is it his male? Yep.
Yeah,
8 ABR.
easy. And damage.
10. Ouch.
Yeah, ouch indeed. Right, he desperately tries to throw himself away from your blow,
Die, traitor!
and you cut a great gash down his back, across his buttock, and down into the back of his thigh. He sort of sprawls forward and rams up against one of the beams that holds the whole place up, and sort of leans on it for his strength. Okay. Doron shakes the disintegrating remains of Chang's skull off his sword and joins Becca to attack Mutt. 6 defense against his attack. Right. He swings his sword but fails to account for the beam being there, and his claymore cuts into the wooden beam about a quarter of the way through. Tunk! Shite! Right. What is Elaine's defense?
My defense is getting 14.
14. Okay. Fon is bringing his axe down, aiming for your pate. Sorry, your defense was 14, was it?
Yes.
Okay, you throw yourself back just in the nick of time. He nearly gave you a third nostril, but not quite. Abbas.
I'll go for whichever is the most wounded one with the spear.
Okay, that would be Mutt, just barely. So he's the guy that's against the beam.
Has he got any defense left?
No.
Hit
Okay.
with a 4. So
Armor bypass roll.
okay. 7.
7, that's straight through. And damage?
Damage is 7 points of damage.
7 points. Okay. You ram the spear into his gut. The armor absorbs a lot of the blow, but not all of it. You partially pierce him, and you have him wedged up against the beam. Okay. And it's his go. Right. He reaches into a pouch on his baldric and hauls out a vial that seems to be full of greenish fire, constantly churning within the glass, and he sort of holds it up as if he's about ready to throw it to the ground. New turn, Cesaro.
How far away is the guy with the vial?
You were fighting the vampire, weren't you? So he's not far from you.
Can I lunge out and chop his hand off?
Yes. So if it's a killing blow, that'll cut his hand clean off, and then I'll give you a chance to catch the vial before it hits the ground. Okay?
Okay, I'll do that.
Right. So are you using both blades, or just... Well, no, you'll need a hand free to catch. So, yeah, one attack.
Yeah. Yep. Use this with the Vardar to chop the hand and the other hand to catch.
Okay, roll to hit. He can't defend himself because he's pinned.
5.
That's probably a hit then, because he can't defend himself. And roll damage.
7.
Right. You lunge out, moving incredibly swiftly, hack down with the sword, and cleave his hand off just below the wrist. His fingers still holding onto the vial, and the hand sort of twist through the air, and a splash of blood, and you reach out to grab it. Right. Let's see. What's your evasion? Oh, actually, no. Roll d20 under your reflexes to catch it.
3.
I take it that's under your reflexes.
Oh, yeah. By 13.
Okay, you grab the severed hand and the vial out of the air.
Yep.
And he rapidly dies of combined blood loss. Right. Elaine.
That's a nice
Um,
move.
Seeing as I've like given him a good gash across the chest, I'm gonna actually tackle him, try and tackle him to the ground if that's possible.
Yep. So that's an unarmed attack, so it won't do any damage, but you might be able to pin him down. So make an attack roll at -4.
So. Yes, I succeed.
Okay. Let's keep the maths easy. Roll d20 and add your strength.
Wow, I rolled high. 30 in total.
30.
Yes.
Right, that's more than him. All right, you bowl into him and bear him down to the ground, and you're on top of him, and he's down. Okay, Becca's go.
No targets left, are there?
Well, there's Mutt, who Elaine has pinned. He's not dead or anything. He's just pinned.
I'm going to go down and check on our horses, I think.
Okay. You seem to have that in hand. I'll go and check on the
Yeah.
horses. All right, you clamber down.
Well, I mean, he's half dead, isn't he?
Yeah. The horses and the elk are all of a sort of froth and lather, but they seem to be starting to calm down now that the vampire's dead.
Yeah, I'll try to calm them.
Right. Doron comes up next to Elaine and lays the blade of his claymore against the guy's throat. What do you reckon? Do him or send him home?
I reckon I've given you quite a bad gash across the chest. Can't remember his name again. Mutt? Fawn.
Oh, no, he's the one that died. Mutt is the one that's still alive, so yeah.
Yeah, Mutt. I've given you quite a nasty gash across the chest, Mutt. You'll soon bleed out without our help. Do you really think this is worth your life?
He lets go of the axe. If you let me live.
Will you tell us what you were sent here to do?
I have your word, I can go.
I sort of like kneel up and sheath my sword. You will have my word.
Very well. Doron, can I sit up? Doron withdraws the sword, and Mutt sits up, clutching his wounds. What do you want me to tell you?
Everything.
I don't know a lot. Kiln Dead pays us a lot of money. 2, 3, 4, 5 times as much as we'd get doing regular mercenary work and guard duties. And yeah, that kind of pay brings quite a bit of loyalty, but you did spare my life. All I know is that he told us to come along with you and see to it that you all died. I guess he wants that throne. And doesn't want any threat to it left. That would be my guess. He's a conniving wee bastard.
Is this all?
That's all I know. What else can I tell you? He desperately thinks of what else he can tell you. He waits on the king hand and foot. He's forever taking him meals and spending a lot of time with him, coming down with new laws and new pronouncements, but not that often. Just, he seems to be the only one the king trusts for whatever reason. He spends a lot of time alone, up on the roof of his quarters, looking at the stars. A lot of time alone in his bed chambers. I've never seen him take a woman or a man to bed. Always alone. Never even tried. Maybe that'll change when he's king. I don't know. One of us usually stands guard outside his room while he's sleeping or working. He never goes anywhere without guards, either us or men-at-arms from the city. Sometimes he rides out of town and we go with him. He doesn't do much. He just kind of goes around the bounds. Sometimes he tells us to wait and disappears. And in the afternoon light and until the sun goes down, he reads alone in his study. Always reading. Always. That's all I know.
Doesn't seem like anything that we could not have ascertained ourselves.
Well, you
But
didn't know. You didn't know he paid us to kill you.
Well,
You-
you could have guessed, but I suppose knowing for sure is better than a guess.
The
And
blood,
I have given you my word.
yeah, and the blood price that he paid us to kill you. It's on the horses. Keep the money. Keep the horses.
Well, I have given you my word. You go back to Kill Main. Is that his name?
Kilndeed or Kilndead.
Kilndeed. God, go back to Kilndead and tell him we're on to him.
That I will. Can I take my axe? There's still creatures on the road.
Fine.
I don't see why not, says Doran. Let the fella up then, Elaine.
Yeah, I'll let him up, and I pick up the axe though.
He holds out his hand to take it. Please?
When you're on the road, I'll give you it back. Not before. I don't trust a man who tried to take my life.
That's fair. Doran says, "Hey, Mutt, there's just one last thing. All right." Mutt turns round, and Doran swings his claymore in a great arc and decapitates him. I didn't promise I wouldn't fucking do you. Fucking cunt.
What is the matter with you, man?
You swore, I didn't. And the last thing we
I
need is any word, one way or the other, getting back to that wee scunner Kildeed.
He would have figured out that we were onto him had they not returned. He would have figured out they were dead.
This way, he doesn't know whether they've got us yet, or they're still trying to get us. Elaine, who's king?
It'll be
By the way, you
Kilrain if we don't finish this out.
And me, if we do. Wouldn't you like to have a king in your pocket?
rather than a scholar.
I would indeed, but I'd much rather have a loyal, noble king than one who executes prisoners.
I never promised the man. And he would
I
have had
promised-
us eaten by a beast from the pits of fucking hell! Waste not your tears on this piece of shit. Alright?
We're
Dry
trying
your
to-
eyes, mate. Let's get some proper sleep till sunup and move on.
Where Chan came from, Jim, I'm going to check if he had like a lair or a nest or something that he was in.
Yeah, you can check the place over. You find his lair, which contains a rather ancient-looking coffin decorated with horses, and a handful of treasures and the coins and bits and pieces that he's taken from travellers over the years. So I will add that stash to your treasure. But we should probably stop there.
Yeah.
Just before we do, can I just where we found his little nest? Can I consecrate the ground with a bit of holy water and the icon of the saint I've got, just to rid it of any paint?
Yeah, it lifts the horrible aura that the place has. Kills the mold that was infesting this area. You do find some human remains down there as well, so you can give them a proper burial and cleanse the earth. But yes, tis done. Right, I shall sort out your XP and stuff. Next game Saturday, and then we'll switch to twice a week so I don't get burnt out. And we're going to go for Tuesday and Saturday, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
sounds
if
cool.
everyone's cool with that.
Hope you
I
had
can do that.
Hope you had
I
fun.
can.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, what was that? You talked over each other. I did.
Sorry. You first, yeah.
I was just saying that I can do Thursdays, but if everyone would rather do Thursdays, but Tuesday is my preference.
Anyone else got a preference?
I don't mind really.
What time are we talking about on Saturdays?
Sorry, pardon?
What time are we talking about on Saturdays?
Same time as usual.
Right.
Same bad
Because
time.
if this lockdown gets uplifted and we're still playing, I might have to change another day because I spend time with my son all day on a Saturday.
Yeah.
That's when the lockdown's lifted. But in the meantime, I can do any day.
Okay, that's fine. That's cool. All right, thanks for playing, guys. Hope you had fun. I'll sort out your XP and treasure and stuff. And yeah, I'll see you next time.
See you
Wasn't there a
Saturday.
Saturday you didn't say you could make, Jim?
Me? No,
Yeah, I thought that. All right. I thought last week you said there was a Saturday you couldn't do. Sorry.
There will be a Saturday that I can't do. Is it this Saturday? No, it's not this Saturday. I think it's next Saturday.
Fair enough.
Next Saturday I probably won't be able to do. But yeah, we'll see. I'll let you know. All right, cheers.
Okay.
Have a safe evening, and see you all soon.
Right, bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
Toodle pip.